senior nights, I think, they mean different things to different people. And when you're new at a program, I think sometimes people think we've not had this particular player very long. It's not very connected, and sometimes that's true. But I think when you look at someone like Zuri, we feel like we've had her more than just the 8 months or so that we've been here, because she's been an upperclassman leader verbally with this team from day one. She's not wavered 1 ounce. She's been outstanding off the court for us and a great representative of our program in terms of work ethic and things like that. So I couldn't be more pleased to have inherited someone like Zuri, of her character and caliber. Those two things really stand out to me, her caliber as a player in terms of work ethic, and then just her character as a person. And she'll certainly be missed. And one thing about Zuri that we've talked a lot about throughout the season is that we will always remember Zuri as being part of the foundation here when the good times come in the future with winning and eventually raising banners and things like that we aspire to do here at Tech. That we will always remember she was part of that first class that helped get us there, and we will always include her in that, and knowing that she helped lay the foundation.
Coach, when you look at Oklahoma, what impresses you about them?
They're very talented. They're young, but they're talented. And the thing that stands out to us is how well they're playing as of late. They could have won their most recent game. They just barely lost that one, and they've been competing at a different level. She's mixed her lineup up a little bit since we played them last. Pellington was one of their big players. First time we played him, she hasn't even played in a few games, and her minutes have definitely been cut, and they've gone with a little bit different look. I think they're playing very well together as a team. And you can tell they're freshmen that have grown up a little bit. And the three-point ball is definitely a threat that they bring to the table, and they're going to push and transition. So those are things that definitely have our attention.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about Taylor Robertson, the 5'7" freshman. She leads them in three-point makes and has been playing pretty well in Big 12 play, averaging in double figures.
Yeah, she's leading in terms of percentage, and she doesn't miss. It's the thing that caught my eye all the way back to when they played UConn early in the year. You're looking at a kid for a freshman who just, if she has daylight, I mean, she's more often than not making the shot, and that's impressive for a freshman. So you definitely cannot give her space. You definitely have to be in her space of the moment she catches the ball, because it's going up and it's going up fast. When she's really effective is out of transition.
Coach, can you just speak to how special it is to be able to kind of blend the generations of Lady Raider basketball and take some of your staff and your current players to the Ring of Honor ceremony today and just kind of be able to celebrate that together?
Yeah, what a day. I couldn't imagine being on that stage, and it was emotional for a lot of those former players, and I think it was even emotional for us sitting there watching it. And there are different emotions and things that you feel going into a Hall of Fame and things like that, but this Ring of Honor is above all of that. It's the elite of the elite, as we know, and it's kind of a final tribute, I think, in many ways to those players. And to be able to bring some of our young players in to watch that, I think it was very powerful for them. I think it was eye-opening in a lot of ways, and from an educational sense, but also how those former players and/or Coach Sharp obviously recognized them when they were on the stage and thanked them for being there, and just the fact that they knew some of their names, and I think that surprised them a little bit. But what a day. I think it's just amazing that the athletic department put together something like that. It takes a lot of manpower. It takes a lot of time and effort and energy to do something like that. It's so easy to just say, I don't want to deal with it. But the fact that they've really committed, Kirby and his staff to doing things like this, and Rodney, I think it's another example of what makes Texas Tech so special.
The last time you played Oklahoma, it was out in Norman. You come up just short. It was a game that y'all felt like y'all could have finished and could have won. Do you use that as motivation as you head into this game?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of motivating factors for this game. That was our first Big 12 road game, and we had a chance. We led almost the entire game, and it's a game that we talked about even that day, that they have to come back here and play, and we're going to look forward to that moment. But also the senior night for Zuri and wanting to go out on a high. It's March, and we talked a lot about March Madness. It's tournament week for us. We leave Thursday to head to the Big 12 tournament, and it looks like we're going to play Oklahoma again or Oklahoma State. So I think there's just a lot of emotion around the game for a number of reasons, but primarily because it's Zuri's senior night. I think that trumps most everything else that's going on for us.
Have you seen the team really use Zuri as a lot of motivation? And she talked a little bit earlier about some of the things that have motivated her being here, but she's obviously a vocal leader. She's somebody who's clearly dominating, especially on the boards. And how do you see the team sort of respond to what she brings and the spark that she provides?
Yeah, I think one thing that stood out for me with Zuri is she wanted from early on, she wanted this year to be a memorable year for her. She's been through so much, and she truly has. I mean, a lot of players don't go through what she's been through here in the last 3 years in a lot of ways. But I think I feel that she has gotten that. Would we like to have a few more wins? Absolutely. But is the progress, I have to be a realist in this seat as well, and is the progress there? It is. I mean, it's the fact that we're competing in these games. You take a number 20 down to the wire. They've shown fight, and they've shown that willingness. And I think a lot of that came from Zuri early on, and just her saying, we're going to do this, and then exhibiting the toughness that she does every single day in terms of what she brings to practice. She's not the most skilled offensive player by any means, and she'll probably admit to that. But what she does bring is, going and getting a rebound is nothing but heart and toughness. She plays with 2 bad knees, and, she's fought through all of that and the pain that she deals with every day, and just has played through that and hasn't really made excuses about any of that stuff. And I think that's probably one of the things that she'll leave with the younger kids on our team, is just that fight and toughness and perseverance. She could have easily left. New staff, a lot of players did before we even had a chance to talk to them even. And Zuri was one of those that wanted to at least talk to us first and kind of see what we were about. And she wanted to be part of it. So, we've given it our all for her. We're going to continue to the very last game this year of doing that for her. And I think that she's done that for this team as well.
Oh, this experience has been very, very bittersweet. I still remember the very first practice I had in this arena. One of my coaches, actually, I felt like I was about to pass out. He told me to get off my knees. And the first thing that came across my mind is, this is about to be the longest 4 years of my life. If I can't even get through a 30-minute workout, how am I going to get through 2.5-hour practices? But here I am, senior year. I've grown not just as a player, but also as a person. And I'm excited to see, where my future takes me.
Carolyn Thompson spoke today at the Ring of Honor ceremony, and then Coach Sharp talked about how she was kind of one of the gals that built the Lady Raider program, but didn't get to experience the trophies and the net cutting down and things like that. Could you see a lot of yourself in that today when you were listening to that?
Oh, definitely. Carolyn Thompson is a legend when it comes to Lady Raider basketball and just women's basketball in general. The things that she's done and she's accomplished is something that will live on forever, and obviously that explains in her legacy and why she's received so many accolades. But she never was able to hold up a championship trophy over her head, not like Cheryl Swoops was able to do for herself. And I know that I haven't been able to do that in the past 4 years I've been here at Tech, but I've been able to help with the movement and help build this foundation for what's to come in later years. And I definitely truly believe that Coach Songs would do great things for this program, and they're going to win championships down the road, and they're going to bring in some great recruits. I mean, we already have. And you see what this team has done and how we've really turned this program around. And you don't just see it in the wins and the losses, but you see it in our fight and our determination. And that's something that you can't measure, is heart. And this has been one of my favorite teams to play with. And I know, down the line, I'm going to see all the championships that they win, and I'm going to be so proud to say that I was able to wear this jersey on my back.
Zuri, have you got a top 3 moments from your time here at Tech?
Top 3. I know this is crazy to say. Definitely my top one would probably have to be when I tore my ACL, because I got so much out of that. I know a lot of people, when they talk about injuries, it's probably the hardest time in a person's career, but for me, it was a time of growth, and I learned a lot out of it. I was able to study the game more mentally, and then when I was ready to come back physically, I felt like I was stronger from a mental aspect. So my ACL was definitely my top my top one that came about. And then I would say my second one would probably be my senior year. You have a whole new team, a whole new coaching staff, and then in life you go through a lot of changes. Change is inevitable. But with how we were able to adapt to one another so quickly is what made me love my senior year just off the bat. How close we all are. There's not really cliques on this team at all. If there is, it's broken up very, very quickly. The chemistry, it's hard to explain off the court because this is definitely a sisterhood. And then my top three, my third one, probably when I came back from ACL, West Virginia. That game will always be memorable because when I heard my name for the first time in months, that just brought chills down my spine. And to hear the standing ovation from the crowd is something I'm going to really miss here at Tech. The fans are amazing, and, you know, they just come out with so much energy every game, and day in and day out.
Fully realizing that there are still opportunities to continue this season. What's next for you? What's after you have to hang up the Lady Raider uniform? What are you doing? What's the plan at this point?
I would love to play professionally. I'm actually going to try to attend a combine here in a couple weeks to try to just get myself out there and show people, you know, what I'm capable of doing. So I want to play definitely professionally overseas because I would love to travel the world. That's kind of like my top priority. But if God doesn't lay out that path for me, then I would definitely like to do something in the broadcasting field. I'm a journalism major, so I would really want to go into sports broadcasting. But even if that's not on the plate either, I'm going to do whatever God wants me to do and wherever he leads me. But right now I'm just praying on it. Obviously, first is to play overseas. I'm not ready to hang up my shoes just quite yet. The Lady Raider uniform, yeah, I'm going to hang that one up. But the shoes, not quite there yet. So I'm going to go until these knees can't go anymore.
With Oklahoma coming to town, what will it take for you to walk out of here victorious one last time?
Yeah, this is going to be a big one. Oklahoma is so much better than when we last played them. They beat West Virginia at West Virginia, which is a big game because West Virginia, they have hopes of going to the tournament this year. They have great shooters. They have very, very, like, a lot of fight in them, and that's what's so amazing about Oklahoma. So obviously we can't be able to run away from this. I think that our team has definitely been focused on this game ever since we lost them at their place by 5. That was a heartbreaker because we didn't expect to go out that way. We didn't expect to start Big 12 play that way. But I definitely do feel like this team has had that loss on our shoulders ever since it happened, and I do believe that we're ready to go.
Coach Stallings put you and Cece to room together on the road with a lot of purpose and intent, and you being the lone senior and her being the lone freshman. What's the best piece of advice that you can give her? Obviously, she's a tremendous leader and somebody who, you know, really provides a lot for this offense. But as you know, leave and you know, go on to do greater things, what is just the best piece of advice that you could give her?
Cece and I are at different phases. When I was a freshman, I wasn't looked to like she was. I mean, obviously, Cece brings so many things to this team, offensively, defensively, and she's a freshman. She's won Big 12 Freshman of the Week multiple times. She could win Freshman of the Year. That's a goal for her. But something that I tell her a lot is that you have to mature faster than a lot of people have. Something that I was never put in a position to mature that quickly freshman year, the way that she has to, and she has to adapt. I mean, she's the only freshman on our team, really like the only underclassman that we have, and she's playing almost 40 minutes a game. You know, she has a lot of stuff on her shoulders. She has to be able to read the court because she's a point guard. And so something that I try to tell her is that she has to mature quicker than anybody else. And something that I would probably tell her to always move forward with, especially in a collegiate career, is you cannot let adversity beat you. If you ever let adversity beat you, then you've already beaten yourself. And I just want to be able to see the best in Cece, and she should never compare herself to anybody else. Regardless of what another player brings, she's Kristen Carr. And at the end of the day, you know, that's what God made her to be, and she's amazing at that. And I know she's going to bring great things to this Lady Raider program in the future.